Hello guys, I'm Tom, and today we'll be looking at what Clöyne is. The demon Clöyne, also known as the evil clown, is an ancient demonic entity that enjoys consuming children. It resides within a clown suit or costume. When an ordinary person wears the costume in which this entity resides, the clown demon awakens, possesses the person, and slowly transforms the host into a terrifying creature that consumes young children. For this reason, the demon Clöyne serves as the main antagonist in the 2014 horror movie Clown. Before we dive into analyzing this demonic entity, I want to cover its full origin story, which we can observe in the movie. Clöyne is actually an ancient demon that has always existed on Earth. As we're told, it originally inhabited the mountainous regions of Northern Europe. According to legend, the peculiar appearance of modern clowns comes from the existence of this monster. Its red nose is burned from the cold. Its skin is extremely pale, almost white, because it never has contact with the sun, and it has a horn on its head that resembles a party hat. Its feet are enormous, which explains the typical long, large shoes worn by clowns. The movie universe suggests that this was always the physical appearance of the demon Clöyne, although over the centuries, its image became distorted and people began to consider it something funny and harmless. For this reason, clowns unknowingly dress and apply makeup in a way that makes them resemble this terrifying entity. In ancient times, the people of these remote regions of Europe knew about the demon Clöyne. They knew that the creature would often lure children into its lair by showing them simple tricks and gaining their trust. Once the children came closer, the demon would devour them in a fierce and terrifying manner. Over time, some people decided to confront it and were able to partially defeat it by decapitating it. This caused the entire body of the entity to dissolve, leaving only its skin, hair, and nose, which resembled a normal clown costume. After this event, the legend of the demon Clöyne evolved over time. People adopted the concept of the clown as a jester who entertains others, with a peculiar appearance, a red nose, white skin, colorful wig, and a loose, oversized suit. For many centuries, the demon Clöyne remained inactive. However, the parts of its body continued to exist because they could not be destroyed. It is suggested that, on certain occasions, some people wore the demon's skin and hair, thinking it was just a costume. This allowed the entity to manifest sporadically in ancient times. A man named Herbert Carlson discovered the strange costume in a costume shop. He had acquired it from an aristocrat in Iceland who sold all the belongings of his former family estate. Herbert, who was the brother of a cancer specialist named Martin Carlson, decided to donate the suit to the children's hospital where his brother worked, instead of selling it to a circus in Moscow, Russia, which was very interested in acquiring it. One day, Herbert decided to wear the costume to cheer up the sick children. Unfortunately, the costume gradually transformed Herbert physically and drastically altered his behavior. His brother Martin promised to find a cure for him, but eventually discovered that he was dealing with something supernatural. The only cure for Herbert was to give the demon what it wanted: 5 children to consume, 1 for each month of winter. Desperate, Herbert captured 5 severely ill children who had no cure at the hospital. After this, Herbert was freed from the demon's possession, although he never fully understood what had happened. His brother Martin told Herbert everything, including the transformation he had undergone at the hands of the demon. Because of this, both of them decided to make a vow to destroy the costume, no matter the cost. However, no matter what they did, the costume could not be destroyed in any way. They couldn't burn it or dissolve it. So Martin stored it in a large trunk, chained it, and locked it in his basement. Many years later, at the end of 2014, Dr. Martin Carlson passed away, and his property was taken over by a real estate agency. A realtor named Kent McCoy, a loving father and husband, wanted to organize a party for his 7-year-old son, Jack. He contacted a clown to liven up the celebration, but the hired clown got the address wrong and showed up at another party. To prevent his son's party from being ruined, Kent decided to wear an old clown costume he found in Martin's basement. Kent wore the costume to entertain the children at the party. After the event, he went up to his bedroom, still wearing the costume. The next morning, he discovered that he couldn't take it off no matter what. Kent noticed that the suit, wig, and red nose seemed to be gradually adhering to his body. Even his wife, Meg, noticed how strange the situation was. When she tried to remove the fake nose, it caused Kent great pain, and when she pulled it off, some of his skin came off with it. Kent began to exhibit strange behavior and developed an insatiable hunger that nothing seemed to satisfy. His stomach made grotesque, loud noises, and he started coughing up colored blood. His skin took on an extreme pallor, as if he were wearing makeup. Desperate to understand what was happening to him, Kent sought out the former owner of the costume, Herbert Carlson, who now ran a successful costume and textile business that had been founded in 1975. When Kent went to see him, Herbert told him the story of the demon Clöyne. However, Herbert tried to kill Kent unsuccessfully. During a confrontation, Kent kidnapped Herbert and fled from his family after breaking his brother-in-law's arm, who had tried to remove his colorful wig. While driving towards the police station with Herbert, Kent noticed that one of his hands and one of his feet were beginning to grow in a supernatural way. Herbert, seeing this, tried once again to kill Kent, causing the car to crash. Aware of his transformation and struggling with the increasingly powerful demon hunger, Kent tore off the fingers of a child and tried to devour another in a bathroom. Following these experiences, he decided to commit suicide by shooting himself in the head at a motel located between his properties for sale. However, this did not kill him. Kent tried to decapitate himself using a saw, but it ended terribly. A child surprised him, which led the demon Clöyne to devour the child, momentarily calming down. Meg, Kent's wife, found him and took him home, where she chained him. While she was out, the demon Clöyne spoke with Kent's son, Jack, and convinced him to free him with the promise of eating the bully who tormented him at school. Jack freed the demon, who kept his word and killed the bully. Meg, desperate to understand what was happening with her husband, sought out Herbert Carlson again. During this time, the family faced another tragedy when the family dog, who had ingested the nose from the costume, was also possessed by the demon. Herbert explained to Meg that the costume and the demon were one and the same. Finally, the story culminated in a confrontation. In a place where Kent had already devoured 2 more children, the demon attempted to make a deal with Meg. If she offered him 1 more child, he would release her husband's body. However, Meg realized that the malevolent entity was deceiving her and that the deal was a lie. Some time later, Clöyne leaves the woman and heads to the house, searching for the child to devour. The creature arrives at the McCoy residence and brutally murders Jack's grandfather. Fortunately, Meg is at the house, and after a long chase and fight, she manages to subdue the demon Clöyne using a large hammer. However, this doesn't kill the creature, as it tries to attack Jack. That's when Meg finally decapitates the monster by smashing its head with great force, successfully killing it. In the end, the police are seen taking the costume as evidence from the crime scene. This leaves open the possibility that the demon Clöyne may remain dormant forever, unless someone awakens it again by wearing the costume. With this, we've covered the full story of the origins of the demon Clöyne, including its physical appearance, personality, and various abilities and weaknesses. The demon Clöyne initially appears as a man in a clown costume, complete with a colorful wig, a red nose, and a very loose, silvery gray suit. This design resembles the clown suit worn by Pennywise in the remake of the It movies. Its true form, which it assumes after consuming several children, is much more monstrous and grotesque. In its true form, the demon has a large, muscular body with extremely long arms and legs. Its hands and feet are enormous, ending in sharp claws. Its skin is a fleshy gray tone, deeply wrinkled, and sickly in appearance. Its face is particularly terrifying, with deep scars and wounds around the eyes and mouth that resemble makeup, but are actually marks and scratches. Its mouth becomes significantly larger, filled with sharp fangs. A strange horn emerges from the center of its head, prominently visible on its forehead. Its colorful wig takes on a more realistic appearance, transforming into the creature's actual hair. The face is the demon's most memorable physical feature, due to its utterly horrifying look. The demon Clöyne is an extremely treacherous, manipulative, bloodthirsty, destructive, and evil creature. It enjoys toying with people's emotions and feelings, though it always prioritizes consuming children. This does not excuse its sadistic and dangerous behavior, as the entity takes pleasure not only in torturing its victims, but also in inflicting suffering on those close to them. This sadistic behavior is evident when the demon murders Meg's father by ripping off his lower jaw, or when it attempts to force Kent to consume the fetus of his unborn child. It also tries to compel him to kill his young son in order to devour him. During the climax of the film, the demon consumes 5 children. Despite achieving this, it does not stop, as it is a malevolent being that thrives on spreading chaos and death. The demon eventually releases Herbert Carlson's body after consuming 5 children, but it does so purely out of malice. By taking control of Herbert, the demon gains knowledge of his personality and feelings, leading Herbert to regret everything and wish that his brother had killed him rather than allowing him to live after murdering 5 children. This is the reason why the 2 men freed themselves from the demon for a time. However, they were still tormented by it, as they lived with the knowledge and guilt of having killed 5 children to satisfy it. The Clöyne demon is a very powerful creature with impressive supernatural abilities that make it nearly invincible. First and foremost, the demon possesses superhuman strength, allowing it to tear apart its victims effortlessly. It also has superhuman speed and agility, enabling it to escape from any location undetected, as well as to quickly and efficiently eliminate its victims. Its incredible durability makes it almost immune to physical damage and conventional attacks. Additionally, it possesses astonishing regenerative abilities, allowing it to heal any injury or wound very quickly. Overall, it is an extremely intelligent creature that plans its attacks strategically and attempts to manipulate people into serving it. It has very sharp claws and fangs, which, combined with its physical strength, make it an extremely dangerous monster. One of its most terrifying abilities is possession. Not only does it control the person who wears the suit and wig, but it can also infect anyone else who wears part of the costume or consumes something from it. A clear example of this ability is when the McCoy family's dog ate the clown suit's red nose, thinking it was a treat. This caused the dog to succumb to the demon's control and attack Meg. During the film's climax, it's worth noting that despite this, the demon chose not to control the dog directly for long, making it seem normal and fine. The demon's most terrifying ability is its immortality. While it can be temporarily stopped by decapitating the body of the person wearing its suit, the demon cannot truly die and has existed for centuries. Moreover, the demonic essence residing in the suit is indestructible. Even though the Clöyne demon is virtually indestructible, it has 2 significant weaknesses. First, if its host is decapitated, the demon loses all its power and becomes inactive. Second, if no one wears its costume, the demon remains practically dormant, unable to harm anyone. The producer of this film, Eli Roth, is well known for creating grotesque movies such as Cabin Fever, which features a flesh-eating virus. In November 2010, John Watts and Christopher Ford uploaded a fake trailer as a joke, showcasing an Eli Roth movie about a killer clown. However, it was just a fake trailer, and Roth was not involved in the project. When the director saw the trailer, he liked it so much that he decided to support the project. Eli Roth contacted the young creators and decided to fund their work, producing the clown movie with a screenplay by Christopher Ford and direction by John Watts. Even so, Roth participated in the creative process of the film and mentioned that they drew inspiration from the Christmas demon Krampus from Germanic legends to create the concept of the Clöyne demon and the legends seen in the movie. Roth also explained that they took inspiration from David Cronenberg's The Fly. They wanted the protagonist to be a sort of tragic villain during the first act of the story, so that the audience would feel some sympathy for him before the demon took over, at which point the audience would no longer feel compassion, but rather disdain and horror. Finally, Roth mentioned that killer clowns have always caused fear in people, so he decided to explore this classic concept in a unique and slightly more original way. And that's everything we know about the Clöyne demon or the evil clown. Honestly, while this movie isn't great due to some flaws, I think it's entertaining. I like that it explores interesting and terrifying concepts, such as the true origins of the Clöyne demon and the ancient legend of clowns. The monster design was very well done and terrifying, although not entirely original, considering this movie was released before it. It had a realistic appearance thanks to the use of practical effects. The demon was characterized as a malevolent, grotesque, and demonic being. Overall, I think the concept of the Clöyne demon's cursed suit is very interesting, though I feel it wasn't fully utilized in the final film. Nonetheless, the monstrous clown is something very memorable and terrifying. But let me know your opinion in the comments below. Did you already know about the Clöyne demon or the evil clown? What do you think of its story and origins? Lastly, what did you think of the concept of the cursed suit and the clown legend? Did you like it? Did it seem fantastic and believable to you? Comment below with your answers to these questions and your general opinion about the Clöyne demon or the evil clown. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. I truly appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, share it to support the channel, and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss any of my new videos.